Hi guys, BPRL Goblin here, bringing you the final round of the Season 3 BPRL F1 Championship. Currently, Matteo is out in front of the championship with 193 points to my 180. Tobin lies in third, a further 10 points off me. So the championship permutations are, I really do have to win to maximise my chances, as if I do win, Matteo only needs 6th. And if I'm second, Matteo needs to finish 8th, whereas if I'm third, Matteo only needs 1 point in 10th place. However, Constructors is much closer. Sauber lying on 297 points, only 8 ahead of Lotus on 289. And with both drivers turning up, it could be a race to the line for those two teams to see who can take the Constructors' Championship in the closest BPRL finish to date. Mercedes lying third on 269 points, but with only one driver turning up to today's race, it's mathematically impossible for them to take the Constructors' Championship now. Unfortunately, in editing, I accidentally cut off the very start of my video, so as you can see right now, from the start of the video is missing. So as you can see, Tobin, I think his wheel disconnects off the line, so I'm straight up into third place, which is just what I need after starting fourth. Take out the bollard with Tara on my outside, he's gone slightly wide, so I don't have to worry about that position behind. So now it's just slotting into position in third place behind Reese and Matteo in second, my championship rival. Coming down to the chicane, Reese goes deep. I think that may have been deliberate, I'm not sure, but it's allowed me and Matteo up into second and first place respectively. And now it is just a 2-horse race between me and Matteo to see who can take the early advantage in the race. So, as you can see, I'm trying to slipstream Matteo as much as possible. I'm already into rich mix to try and maximise my straight line speed down the straight. Closing up to him, no DRS yet because it's only lap 1. And you can see I'm going for a move on the inside, but on lap 1 I thought that's a bit too risky, I'll just wait until maybe later on. And also I had this second straight in mind, which is, in my opinion, a better opportunity to overtake. So again, up into rich mix, tucking into his slipstream, and he's covering the inside, so it looks like I'm going to have to go to the outside of Matteo to go around the outside of this turn into the third sector. I'm trying to hold it around his outside. Oh, and I've made it through. I've got the first place. It's exactly what I wanted this early stage in the race. Matteo now down in second with Tara in third, as Connor just retires there. He's spectating this race to help with the live tweet. So anyway, up into first place coming in the final sector. Now I've got a chance, but oh, I've gone wide. I think I've given Matteo an advantage. I think he's just on my tail. Yeah, that's right. He's trying to go around my outside through this corner. That's not going to work. He's going to switch to the inside. He's going to have a run on me, and we're neck and neck. He's even ahead. Oh, but he's gone wide slightly as I took the inside line and braking now just normally into the last corner, and I've claimed that position against Matteo coming on to lap 2. So that was really tricky couple of corners there for me, but it was really important to gain that early advantage on Matteo, because I really need to try and pull away now and hope Matteo drops back into the clutches of the other drivers. As you can see, we're on lap 3 now, and the gap to Matteo currently stands at around 1.8 seconds, 1.9 seconds as I'm heading through the chicane there and into the left-hander. I'm currently on a purple lap, which is looking good. I've kept my pace quite consistent, slowly improving my lap times. As you can see, Taro, the Peasant's Muff, was only, as we lose connection to Brandon there, Taro was only 0.7 seconds, I believe, behind Matteo. So hopefully Matteo can fall back into the clutches of the drivers behind, as I realistically think that Reese, Taro, Sean and Tobin all have chances, because they all seem quite quick at this track. Checo as well, he's certainly got a chance. So the championship isn't out of the question for me, as I think now, yep, I've currently set the fastest lap of the race. Don't know if anyone behind is going to go quicker, but for sure Reese and Tobin coming through the field after dropping back early, I think they both have good chances of beating Matteo. It's just really if he can slip back the amount of positions I need him to do. So there's just confirmation of my fastest lap. Okay, coming on to lap 9 now, with a 5.1 second gap to Matteo. I think he's dropped back slightly on this previous lap. His tyres are starting to go. You can see Reese now up into third place. He'd made considerable gains after dropping back at the chicane on lap 1, as Miles unfortunately has to retire from the race. I think he had to leave for some family issues to solve at home, so unfortunately for him he couldn't get to the end of the race. But as you can see now, this is our in-lap, taking it slightly cautious on the pit lane entry. Didn't want to slide out wide and break any sort of front wing, just selecting the tyres there. And now the pit stop, quite quick pit stop, and as you can see, we're just out ahead of Matteo. That was crucial. We did not want to be held up by him or his mechanics whatsoever. We did not want to get held up by Matteo at all, so thankfully we've got out ahead and not lost any time at all. Okay, so now we're coming through the pit exit. I'm still in first place. Oh no, it looks like I'm down to second with Reese just coming out ahead of me. But I'm at this stage of a race, I'm not worrying because I know he's on a different strategy to me. He's on a 3-stopper, whereas I'm only on a 2-stopper. So he has 2 stops to make, whereas I'm only on a 1-stopper. I have only 1 stop to make, rather. So he's going to end up running the prime tyres at the end, I believe, while I get my prime stint out of the way now. So now we're on lap 12, coming through the final section, couple of corners under the hotel. And what's that? Oh, Reese has spun! Something's happened to Reese on the exit of that corner. He was about 5 seconds ahead of me, so we'll wait to see how much time he's lost in that spin. Hopefully he can keep it ahead of Matteo. That would be good for me to back Matteo up slightly. So crossing the line now, we set a 1:44.286. It's quite a steady lap, not too slow for the prime tyres, as I think now we're going to get confirmation of the gap to Reese. It's 8.3 seconds with Matteo a further second back. So that's really good. That's worked out nicely. So now we're on lap 16, coming down into the chicane through the first sector, and I think Reese is pitting, so now we're going to get our first real gap. See how far Matteo is behind us. So just going through the hairpin, and Matteo is 9.4 seconds back. So on the second stint, we've dragged out another 4.5 seconds out of our gap, so that's really good. On to lap 19, and Reese has now got past Tarot up into third place, so he's making quick strides for the field on his 3-stop strategy. The gap to Matteo has grown now to 9.9 seconds. Not that much of a growth, but it's still increasing, which is good for me. And now we see the gap again. It's still around 9.9 seconds as Reese sets a 1:40.7 on his new set of option tyres, which shows they are really quick right now. And my prime dive recently set a 1:46, so I'm really going to need to get off those tyres very, very soon indeed. So you can see now lap 20, Matteo is pitted, and the gap to Reese is only 6.3 seconds. So after I pit now, he'll only have 1 stop to make, and I'll be going to the end of the race, so it's fairly close, to be honest, between me and him. It could get really close at the end. We wait to see, as Taro's about 16 seconds back in third place after Matteo's pitted. He's been promoted up to third. So as you can see now, with the blue line coming into the pits, attacking the pit lane slightly more than last time round, once again selecting the tyres and coming out of the pits here. Are we going to take it slightly quicker than the previous time? Yes, we're attacking it a lot more. I think almost carrying 10 miles an hour more through the exit of the pit lane there. But of course, Reese has got ahead of us. I think we'll wait now to come out of the pits, or as I exit the pits a bit too early there. Come now down to the first split time to see how far behind Reese I am. It's 16.1 seconds. That really is a big gap. So he still has 1 stop to make, so I'm going to try and close up slightly in that time to try and bring the gap down as much as possible to give myself as much an advantage. Now on lap 22, I think Reese is pitting this lap. Yep, he is pitting this lap, so I've tried to make the most of my out lap, set a 1:42.8 on my first flying lap on these options, so as I managed to get the gap down to 14.3 seconds over Reese on his dying options. So going through turn 2, Reese should be coming out of the pits any time now. The gap visibly looks to have decreased, so we'll get a proper confirmation of that as we come through the chicane. So there you have it, the gap is now 4.5 seconds. He's really closed up, and we now face a sprint to the finish more or less in these final 6 laps to see if Reese can catch up and overtake me. Okay, so now on to lap 25, once again coming through the chicane, and we can see the gap has shrunk. Reese has now brought the gap down to just under 2 seconds, so he is going to be hot on my tail by the end of the race. I'm just hoping, as you can see, Matteo's in third. He hasn't really slipped back as much as we hoped, but I'm just still, now I see the championship's kind of not going to work out for me. I'm just going to make sure I can go for the win and try and finish off the season in style. But I can tell you now, Reese is not going to make that easy for me. Coming into the first chicane at the end of the first sector, and the gap is down to 0.3 seconds. Reese is right behind me. You can see the arrows there on the screen. Coming through the hairpin, I'm fairly sure, yeah, I'm almost certain he'll have DRS on me coming down the straight. So just putting up into rich mix, trying to gain myself as much an advantage I can, get my throttle as early as possible. And now he'll have DRS, so he'll just come steaming up my inside. There's nothing really I can do. As you can see there, I go slightly defensive, but he's just gone up the inside. So maybe I can stick it back around the outside, but no, that was quite an easy move actually. There's not really too much I could defend there. But I'll have DRS back on this straight to try and cut back in front of him straight away. But it looks like the gap is slightly too big. I'm starting to close into him now, but certainly too far away to make any sort of move, so I'm just going to have to slide behind and hope something drastic happens in the final 2 laps. On lap 27 now, the penultimate lap, coming through the second to last corner, then up to the last corner. The gap to Reese hasn't grown as much as I expected it to. I've sort of just managed to keep him within range of a mistake, as you can see there, the gap's 1.6 seconds. So literally just hoping he can make a mistake on the final lap and I can slide through to take the win. But as you can see, Matteo's up there in 3rd place, so there's no chance to lift the championship unless he has a shocker of a lap, like I did perhaps in Singapore on the final lap. So as you can see, the gap is at 1.8, Reese has stretched it slightly through the first sector. They cut the corner slightly there. But he goes deep into the hairpin there. I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but anyway, he's definitely made a race of it on the final lap, as neither of us have DRS because I was slightly too far behind through the detection zone. So he's got back ahead of me, but I'm going to duck behind him to try and get some extra slipstream coming down into the 2nd gear corner here. I think it's turn 7. Braking, as Tario unfortunately retires from the race. I think he broke his front wing, but I'm trying to hold it around the outside and then back up the inside, but he'll have extra acceleration and straight line speed. So going to get into rich mix again and try and duck into his slipstream as much as possible. I've got DRS on the final lap here. Again, it looks like I'm a bit too far away like I was earlier on in the race to make any sort of impression. But in the braking zone, he turns and goes wide. Now that one definitely looked deliberate. I'm not sure what it looked like from his screen, but anyway, we'll take the position going through the final chicane of the track. Cut the corner again slightly where in kind of a bit of under pressure situation. So we're coming through towards the hotel section. It's really starting to get dark. You can really see the hotel, but we haven't dropped Reese. He's still on our tail as we come through the final couple section of corners. We go left. He's on our tail, but a brief bit of wheel spin gives us a tiny bit of respite as we head towards the penultimate corner. Taking that nicely, keeping Reese at bay. Coming towards the final corner now. The final lap. I've gone slightly wide. Can Reese take advantage? No, he can't. I will cross the line to take the win, just from Reese in 2nd. Matteo is still holding 3rd position, and it looks like he is going to take that as he doesn't have any penalties at the moment. We just wait for confirmation, see if he can take 3rd. And there we have it. Matteo has finished in 3rd, so he takes the BPRL Season 3 F1 World Championship crown. Checo crossed the line 4th, with Tobin 5th, Sean 6th, and Simon 7th, with Tao retiring on the final lap of the race. Here on your screen you can see the final championship standings as Matteo takes the World Championship on 207 points. With me in 2nd on 199, Tobin in 3rd on 180. The constructors stand with Sauber winning the championship from just 6 points from Lotus in 2nd, with Mercedes a further 23 behind. It's been an absolutely terrific season. Thank you anyone that's been watching any of my videos and any of the other regular uploaders from this season. On a personal level, I feel I've far exceeded my own expectations I had from this season. Finishing 2nd is something I never thought I'd do, with 4 wins and 4 further 3rd places on the podium to add to that, and 199 points is my best BPRL season to date. Even though at times the racing hasn't been the cleanest and the game has just been generally shocking in general, I'm sure everyone can agree on that. I and myself are hoping for some more amazing races on hopefully a great game in F1 2015 if Codemasters can get their act together. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this race and any of the other videos I've uploaded this season. I've really enjoyed making them. Also, if you could subscribe, that would help the channel greatly, or even just drop a like or a comment if you've enjoyed this video. I'd really appreciate it so much. Thank you very much, and goodbye.